Hello and welcome back to the Misty Morrison Podcast. I'm your host, Misty Morrison, and this is episode 64 of Petty Please. Here on the Misty Morrison Podcast, we love to read or listen. We love to listen to all the stories of entitlement, revenge, malicious compliance, pettiness, bad bosses, bad neighbors, all the things, to be grateful that drama is not our story. Before we get into our stories for the day, our usual housekeeping, whether you are new or returning, please remember to engage with the content to help the channel grow. Every little bit of online engagement is free and can help build the dream. If you are listening on podcast, please leave a 5-star review if you liked it. Anywhere else, give it a like, a heart, a thumbs up. Share it with a friend. Subscribe for more. Hit the bell icon to be notified every time I post a new video on YouTube. And wherever you're watching, leave a comment with your thoughts on the stories down below. Okay, into our stories for the day. Story number 1 is coming to us from r/entitled people. The whole building was paying for her laundry business. This is a story I've been thinking about since my washer broke and I had to go to the laundromat. 10 years ago, I lived in an apartment complex that included washer and dryer connections, but no machine, and if you didn't have one, you had to go to the complex's laundromat. This place was unique in that each unit didn't have their own hot water heater, so each building had an industrial size one, and the monthly water bill was split based on apartment size and number of occupants to each apartment. Sounds fair. The first couple of years, my water bill was about $20 a month, which about the same for my previous apartment, which was the same size. Then I noticed my water bill kept going up every month, until after about a year, it was over $60. I contacted the office and they said that others mentioned the same, and they double-checked the usage and it was correct, but they had no idea why it was so high. I had a downstairs neighbor who had been in a car wreck, and I would help him bring his groceries in, etc., and we would chat. He started complaining about his next-door neighbor, saying she was rude and loud, and he was tired of her running her washer and dryer constantly night and day, and he was sick of hearing it while he tried to sleep. How she constantly had people coming and going but refused to speak to anyone when he would see her. His comments about the washer and dryer stuck with me, and I said maybe that's why our water bills are so high. We talked about the amount of the bill, and his was around $75 since he had a bigger apartment, and he thought it was crazy too. We had both just assumed the complex was charging high rates. He also did not have a washer and dryer and used the complex one as did most of the people in our building. Her apartment was the smallest model in the complex, only around 400 square feet. I guess we both started thinking about the laundry after that, and I began to notice that the people coming and going were almost always carrying full laundry baskets. My neighbor and I spoke about it a few more times and concluded that she was running a laundry service out of her home. He was very angry, especially since his injuries had made him permanently disabled, and he was now living on disability pay. He told me that he was going to the manager and reporting her and asking for a reduction in the amount he paid in water. He came back afterwards discouraged because they wouldn't give him a credit and only told him that they would look into it. I know that he confronted her at least twice, and both times she just did as she always did, refused to acknowledge or speak to him, and just ran inside her apartment. Almost 3 months went by with the ever-increasing water bill that went up every month until one day she was just gone. And then we got the notes on our door across the entire complex. The note states that per our lease guidelines, any business that is operating out of our apartments needs to be disclosed to management for approval, and any violations of this will result in fines and possible eviction. My building got a separate note stating that we would all receive a $50 credit on the next month's rent due to a mistake in billing. No acknowledgement of the fact that this went on for over a year, and we were probably owed more, just some rug sweeping. Within a couple of months, my water bills were back down to about $30. I get that people need to find creative ways to make money when they're broke. I've been there. I used to have to sell things to make rent at times, gone without food because I just didn't have the money, and have worked 2 jobs before just to stay afloat. But she was running a business that we were all contributing to with no benefit to ourselves. That is just stealing in my book. Any thoughts? Should we have let it go and just let her continue? No? Why on earth would you? She literally made money off of your backs. If your electric bill was $50 and immediately went back down to $30, if this went on for a year, you could have saved so much money. Like, that was incredibly unfair, and she knew what she was doing was wrong. That's why she wouldn't talk to anybody. If someone would have just, like, set up a camera to, like, record all the people coming and going with laundry baskets, it could have been done sooner. I mean, at least they gave you something, but I feel like it was hush money. Because I feel like if everyone in the complex got together and, like, got a lawyer, complained, would show their bills, like, when the increase started based on when she moved in or something, you guys probably could have got what was actually owed back to you. But, I mean, it is what it is. It sucks, but at least she's gone. At least they did eventually do something about it. Story number 2 is coming to us from r/entitled people. Entitled shopper tries pushing her empty cart into mine as I'm still packing up my car at Walmart. I was at Walmart a while back and I was putting my purchases away in my car. Out of the corner of my eye, I see a woman approaching and she attempted to push her cart into mine, saying, "All set." Luckily, I was able to quickly catch the other cart and walked over to her, leaving the cart in front of her car before she can drive away. The woman yells to move the cart, and all I did was to point to where the cart collection area of the parking lot was as I walked away. The woman screams, "Do your effing job!" I just continue to ignore her once I get back to my car and finish loading my car, put my cart in the cart return, and leave. The woman never left her spot and was screaming so many vulgar words everyone in the parking lot could hear her. Update for some who have seen comments saying they were curious to the age of the woman, she was in her early 30s. I mean, I don't feel like that mattered. Regardless of teenager, 20s, 50s, it didn't matter. It was awful behavior. Awful. Regardless of whether or not you thought somebody worked there, just know. Just be a grown up. It's apparently quite hard for some people. Story number 3 is coming to us from r/entitled people. The theater is not the place for entitled musical chairs. My daughter bought us tickets to see the Outsiders musical today in Philly. I was super excited to go. We get there and see that there are schools on a field trip to see the show too. Cool, fine. We are in our seats waiting for the show to start when a group of 5 girls, maybe 8th grade, come in looking for their seats. They find them and sit. They started pointing to a row of seats a couple rows ahead and got up to move there. People are still arriving, mind you. The people those seats belong to show up and the girls, rolling their eyes, move. Only they don't go back to their seats. They decide to sit in another row of empty seats. The family those seats belong to show up and the girls refuse to move, telling the family they are sitting there. The mom of the family says these are their seats and shows the girls her phone. They still refuse to move, saying they were there first. That's not how it works in a theater. I'm thinking, are these girls that entitled or just stupid? People pay for certain seats in theater and they are not cheap. This isn't their school auditorium where they can sit wherever they want. The mom goes to get a worker who tells the girls they have to move to the seats that they paid for. Rolling their eyes again, the girls finally move. While all that is going on, one of their friends keeps walking up and down the very small aisles where people have to get up to let her through. She had no reason to do this, but to be a brat. The steps and seats are steep and it's scary for me to get to my seat. When she came through our aisle, I told her, "Do not come through here again because I'm not moving for a person that is not sitting in my row," and seems to just want to make people get up simply because she can. I guess I got my point across because I did not see her walk through any more aisles that she was not sitting in. Then, when the show started, they were still talking loudly. Thank goodness someone loudly shushed them and it worked. Where in the heck were their chaperones at? We did enjoy the show, though. It was absolutely amazing in every way. I'm so glad you were still able to enjoy the show despite all the hooligans here. That is pure entitlement. Pure entitlement. They knew what they were doing. It wasn't stupidity. They knew. They did it on purpose. You're right, they're just being hateful little brats. I'm surprised whenever someone shushed them and it actually worked. Yeah. I mean, I'm glad the mom kept her cool, just went and got a worker to correct the brats, and then later on somebody shushed them and everyone could still enjoy the play. Yeah. I went I went to a Broadway show one time when I was a kid. It was Beauty and the Beast live. And we went when we did, and we were so excited to go because Belle that night was supposed to be played by Christy Carlson Romano, who, for anyone who doesn't know, played Ren on Even Stevens and was the voice of Kim Possible on Disney Channel. So we're so excited to go because it's going to be Christy Carlson Romano. We knew she had an amazing voice, beautiful, amazing actress. Well, we're in our seats. We get there. Everyone is seated, the lights dim, and there comes on the announcer over the loudspeakers to inform everyone that Christy Carlson Romano was out that evening and her understudy, I do not remember the poor woman's name, but the understudy would be playing Belle that evening. And the way the crowd erupted in boos, I felt so bad for this actress. And it was just so unfair. I can't imagine having to go on the stage, like being backstage, hearing them boo when your name is announced, and then to still have to go on and perform. Great actress. Cannot imagine the stress or the pressure or how disheartening that would feel for like people to be upset that you are there to give them a show. And so the play begins, we watch it, it ends, and she gets a standing ovation because she was amazing. And I'm sure by the end of it, she felt okay, but just to hear the way people acted, yeah, like you can be disappointed that you didn't get to see Christy Carlson Romano, but it wasn't that actress's fault. She didn't deserve that. I felt bad for her. I'm glad at the end she got the praise and recognition that she deserved. And I hope that made up for the opening because people are cruel. That was an absolute side note that had nothing to do with that story. It just the theater made me think of it. Story number 4 is coming to us from r/entitled people. The title is Entitlement. How do I deal with someone that is entitled and explosive? As in, I was going to give her a ride to this event where they were giving away dog food and leashes and collars. If you're low income and I offered to take her, and it ended up that I couldn't take her because I had car trouble. Anyhow, she doesn't drive, and so she's saying that I owe it to her because I didn't take her. So I should buy her this certain kind of dog food, not just some dog food, but a certain kind of dog food, and a pack of cigarettes, and that would be fair, which is absolutely crazy. I would never hold someone responsible for taking care of my dog if I didn't have the money to have a dog, or take care of a dog I would not get one. And I would never assume that someone that can't give me a ride should be liable to pay for my dog food. Am I wrong? No. No, this is a fantastic example of entitlement because I'm glad you didn't call her a friend because she's just Delulu. She's Delulu, she's trying to take advantage of you, and the fact that, okay, it was an event giving away dog food, collars, and leashes. Where did the cigarettes come in? This is no longer about your dog. This is about you being entitled. You're like, oh, well, no leash and collar, but I'll settle for the dog food and some cigarettes. No, you will not. No. Absolutely insane. Okay, story number 4 is coming to us from r/malicious compliance. Professional photographer knew better than 3 ophthalmologists. It cost him £750. I'm a qualified dispensing optician in France. Full disclaimer, I actually don't know if that icon is pounds or euros or if there's a difference. I'm sorry, I'm just American. I don't know. 750 euros, 750 pounds. Hey Siri, are pounds and euros the same thing? No, they're different. Pound is the currency of the UK, while the euro is the currency of many European Union countries. Siri, can you show me a picture of the symbol for the United Kingdom's pound currency? Siri, can you show me the symbol for a euro? Okay, I've learned things. Now we know. It cost him 750 euros. Sorry. I'm a qualified dispensing optician in France. Qualified dispensing opticians here are trained in physiological optics and visual analysis. We can adapt a prescription when necessary, but we are not allowed to create one from scratch. Back when I was learning the trade, a colleague of mine had a perfect malicious compliance moment with a customer. At the time, a medical prescription wasn't legally required to buy glasses. This customer had seen 3 different ophthalmologists, received 3 different prescriptions, and had decided to cherry pick the parts he liked from each one to build his own improved prescription. The worst part was the addition in his progressive lenses. For those unfamiliar, the addition is the extra magnifying power used for reading and near vision in the lower part of the lens. In almost all cases, the addition is identical in both eyes. Significant differences are extremely rare and usually tied to specific medical conditions. This customer was not one of those cases. Instead, he wanted one eye focused for about 67 centimeters or 26 inches and the other for about 40 centimeters or 16 inches. Think of walking with a stiletto heel on one foot and a flat shoe on the other. Thank you for that analogy. Unless your body is built for it, you're going to have a bad time. My colleague explained repeatedly that this was a terrible idea. The customer replied, "I'm a professional photographer. I know optics. Just do what I tell you." My colleague warned him that our satisfaction guarantee would not apply, strongly advised against it as part of his professional duty, and had him sign a document acknowledging all of it. Go him. Remember, he was a licensed optician, not just a salesperson giving an opinion. The customer doubled down. "It'll work. I know what I'm doing." So my colleague did exactly what he asked. The lenses arrived, a high-end pair of progressive lenses costing about 750 euros, equivalent to $850. He put them on. "This is incredibly uncomfortable. I can't see properly." "Yes. But that's not normal." "Actually, it is." "So what are we going to do?" "We? Nothing." Silence. In the end, we were kind enough to offer a discount on a replacement pair made with a sensible prescription. We could technically have used one of our manufacturer adaptation allowances and replaced the lenses at no cost. But those exist for genuine adaptation issues, prescription errors, dispensing errors, or unusual medical circumstances. This was none of those. The lenses were made exactly as ordered and performed exactly as everyone except the customer expected them to. This is wild. I cannot imagine. I've done a little bit of photography. I've seen photographers work. I know how cameras work. Camera. I cannot imagine saying, "Oh, I'm a photographer. I know optics." And to think that is equivalent to understanding how prescriptions work for glasses and contact lenses. I don't even understand the thought process or how we got here. But I am so glad your colleague did his due diligence, had him sign that piece of paper, tried his best, and then still went above and beyond when the customer came back and realized they were stupid. Your colleague still went above and beyond and at least gave them a discount to get usable glasses. This one's wild. Story number 6 is coming to us from r/malicious compliance. Want me to write my work? Sure. For some backstory, I have problems with writing out things by hand. I don't know exactly what it is, as I don't particularly want to get it checked out. The reason for this is just due to not wishing to waste the doctor's time when they have more important things to do. I've suffered with this problem for about 4 to 5 years, and I am a 16-year-old biological male. The problem is that when I write for extended periods of time, 10 to 15 minutes, I get extreme cramps in my hand that leaves me unable to move my fingers until they subside. Usually I can feel them coming before they happen, so I can put the pen down first and stop it from fully happening. I also have problems with handwriting as a result and cannot write very quickly. I'm studying for my exams at home and do all my work on a laptop to avoid problems with my hand. I'm proficient at typing with one hand as to avoid the problems with the other. My grandmother, who we'll call G for the rest of the story, is always saying I work too slowly. I start work at 9 a.m. and am done at 7 to 8 p.m. depending on what the work is. Yesterday, she blamed my lack of working quickly on the fact that I'm on a laptop and can obviously write quicker than I can type. This is not the case. I fully understand. I can write. My handwriting is crap. It is awful. And I'm really slow at writing. I can type. At my best, when I was practicing all the time, I could type over 100 words per minute with 99% accuracy. I can type well. I can type a lot faster and a lot better than I could write. If I need to take notes, like during a meeting or something, I am typing it because typing my fingers can keep up with the conversation a lot better than my hands ever will with a pen and paper. When she said the next day that I would not be typing an entire English transactional writing piece, I tried making my point to her and she wasn't listening. Here's where the compliance comes in. The next day, today, when I had sat down to do this writing piece, she took the laptop from in front of me and put lined paper down. I had 15 minutes to write it all out, and so I was grinning from ear to ear, knowing what was about to happen. I started to write and everything was going well. I wasn't trying to be slow and I was going quicker than usual. I felt my hands start to cramp and told her about it, to which she huffed at me and told me to just get on with it and stop being a hypochondriac. And so I did, and not less than 2 minutes later, my hand cramped and locked up. It continued like this for 8 minutes, and while it was extremely painful, I tried to keep quiet in order to let my plan work. When the cramps subsided, I continued on with my work, and it happened again. I think all in all, it happened 3 times before my time was up. I had written a single 8-line paragraph which had just shy of 130 words in it. She was not pleased and so told me that I was going slow on purpose just to piss her off. To which I explained again, and she finally let me do it on my laptop, to which I got 3 paragraphs plus the conclusion in those 50 minutes, while typing with one hand. Edit, I'm in the UK just to provide clarification. Edit 2, I wish I was able to show how I hold pens, but I can't attach images for some reason. Edit 3, thanks for the advice. I'm going to try and look into getting an appointment for my hand. I mean, I'm glad you are taking the advice and you're going to get your hand looked at, because that does seem like a legitimate medical condition for your hand to cramp that badly and that quickly and for that long. And if it's painful, no reason to not get it checked out. I mean, yeah, you told her I am much faster on a computer, even one-handed, and she didn't believe you, so you just did what she asked and proved her wrong. Very good. Okay. Story number 7 is coming to us from r/malicious compliance. Have you ever used malicious compliance to deal with ridiculous work rules? How did it turn out? Working in a large manufacturing plant and needed to change a testing procedure. I was the expert and knew exactly what was needed, so I updated the procedure and sent it out with an effective date to start, and management had a fit. You can't make this change without input from all the different users. You need to have review meetings to gather input. Okay, so I scheduled a big review meeting and invited over 20 people from different groups and levels of the organization. And no one showed up. Sent the new procedure back out with a note that stated all those people who attended the review meeting agreed with making the changes and implemented the new procedure. Everyone was happy. Multiple managers apologized for missing the meeting, but were really glad I had taken the time to get everyone's input. Sneaky. That was just sneaky. Let's see. You need to have review meetings to gather input. You did have a review meeting. It's not your fault that no one showed up. You did technically lie when you said all the people. Well, no, you didn't. Because you said all those who attended the meeting reviewed and agreed. And you attended. You attended. It was you again. But it works. It does sound odd to me for one person to update a procedure and just send it out. Like where I work, we have policies and procedures committee. And lots of people review things before they ever go for board approval. And then at that point, then they go out to the entire organization. That makes sense to me. But yeah, I mean, you did what was asked. They said you need to hold a meeting. You held the meeting. And those who attended, even if it was just one who attended, agreed. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, that is 7 stories for this week's episode of Petty Please. Thank you so much for being here for another episode of the Misty Morrison Podcast. Remember, start each day with a grateful heart. Kindness changes everything, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.